Mother Maria always said was, one of the greatest things is to do it with love. And so whether that's the healing ministry, or whether that is the education or the pastoral care, and even the pastoral care of their own sisters, doing so with a lot of love. And that was something that I think was really a hallmark of Mother Maria.
She was a young woman who heard God's call, gave everything of herself, and we follow in that pathway.
She had a profound trust in the will of God. All that had happened, she would accept as this is what God allows, and I will not be stingy with God. I will continue to persevere. I will continue to do whatever He's asking from me.
Once you have met someone holy, you'd never forget them.
From miracle workers to martyrs, to those ordinary people living extraordinary lives of heroic virtue, these are the people that make us wonder if someday they might be saints.
Venerable Maria Kaupas, foundress of the Sisters of St. Casimir, was born Kazimiera Kaupas in Remigala, Lithuania in 1880, one of 11 children.
She was born into a very profound religious family. Her dad, even though he had a farm, he was quite educated in his own right. The mother was a very caring and compassionate person. The mother was a very devout person from her childhood. She had learned this from her father, who used to sing the Psalms early in the morning and throughout the day. And she realized the role of Almighty God in her life. Kazimiera was about 15, a happy young woman, enjoying what she was doing, tending the animals on the farm and doing what she has to do and reading books. She was an avid reader.
At the request of her older brother, Reverend Anthony Kaupas, she came to the United States in 1897 to serve as his housekeeper, was serving as pastor of St. Joseph Lithuanian Parish in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Her brother was looking for this young little girl in old-fashioned clothing with a scarf, and here came this fashionable young lady with lovely clothes and a straw hat. She did see the difficulties and the hardship of the Lithuanian immigrants. Most of the fathers were minors, many were killed, many young women were left as widows, children without parents. And with all her heart, she wished she could do something for them. How could they help them keep their faith, keep their language and their culture?
It was during her 4-year stay in the United States that Kazimiera met sisters for the first time and was attracted to an apostolic religious life.
She was inspired by the religious women that she saw in Scranton and asked her brother, who are those women? Because she had never seen sisters in her life. And he said, they are women who live for God alone.
If she became a sister, she would be able to find a way to help all these people for which her heart was grieving.
When she told her brother of her intent to enter a congregation in the United States, he informed her that the American Lithuanian clergy sought to establish a Lithuanian congregation of women religious for the purpose of educating the youth in a Catholic setting and help preserve the Lithuanian language and customs. Kazimiera was then asked to lead this new venture that would sustain and nourish the faith of the early Lithuanian immigrants in the United States.
She had a profound trust in Almighty God and God's providence, so very willingly she was able to respond to this.
Kazimiera spent 3 years in Ingerbol, Switzerland, where the Sisters of Mercy of the Holy Cross taught and prepared her for the work to which she felt called. In 1905, with the help of her brother, she found a priest, Reverend Dr. Anthony Staniakinis, who would guide the congregation.
She's on the train leaving Lithuania, and she writes in her journal, "It was night." And she said, "I began to cry, and I thought, what am I doing? Why am I leaving my homeland?" Goes through that emotion, and she says, "It is for God that I am doing this. And for God, nothing is ever enough. I will give everything. I will not be selfish with God."
And she, in the meantime, had found 2 other women from Lithuania who were willing to join the congregation.
In 1907, Maria Kaupas established the Order of the Sisters of St. Casimir in Scranton, Pennsylvania. In April of that same year, Pius X approved the establishment of the congregation.
Casimira was always responsive to the Holy Spirit and lovingly accepted the valuable assistance and religious training from the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary at Marywood in Scranton. Mother Cyril, their General Superior, greatly supported and befriended this new community, founded under Mother Maria's care, a friendship between the communities that has continued throughout the years.
Her belief was that God was talking to her through the people that came here, whether they be the children or whether they be seniors, whether they be the sick, whether they be immigrants. And so it was always important, I think, for people today to know that there is a great need in our world today for healing, and a great need in our world for passing on of the faith, and a great need for courageous people to take on the tasks, to carry on an incredible vision that Mother Maria had.
The sisters all expressed her great devotion to the Eucharist. She was often found praying in chapel.
Throughout her life, Mother Maria fashioned the spiritual identity of the congregation. She taught the sisters that the mission entrusted to them by the Church, works of faith and love, must flow from a life of union with God rooted in faith, built on love, and imbued with a spirit of hope.
That was what her life was all about. She went outside her comfort zone, leaving the land where she was born to come to the United States, to a small town she knew probably nothing about when she came here, with just a goal of conveying God's love to Lithuanian immigrants that were here and helping them to a better life.
Then when she saw the plight of the Lithuanian immigrants, she said, we'll start teaching children, and those children will go home and they'll share the faith with their parents.
From Scranton, Mother Maria traveled to Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, where Reverend Anthony Stanyakinis was pastor, to prepare for the opening of the congregation's first parish, convent, and school. Mother Maria's dream to provide a religious education for the children of Lithuanian immigrants became a reality when on January 6, 1908, Holy Cross School opened with over 70 pupils.
That was our first school. That's where she started. It was a mining town. People were very poor.
Mother Maria Kaupas, one of the great charisms of her life is when she came to Mount Carmel to start the Lithuanian school, she saw the beauty also of helping the local community outside the Catholic Church. She wanted to make an imprint not only within the Catholic community, but the entire community.
Within a few months, Lithuanian pastors, recognizing the depth and strength of this new congregation of women religious towards preserving the faith life of the immigrant people, sent requests begging for sisters to staff their parochial schools, first in Pennsylvania, later in Chicago, and in many other parts of the United States.
I think she opened up a whole new world for those Lithuanian immigrants. I'm sure they were ill at ease as all new groups coming to the United States, how they were going to fit in.
Villa Joseph Marie High School, a Catholic private college preparatory school for young women, was founded in 1932 in Newton, Pennsylvania, when Mother Maria purchased 206 acres of beautiful farmland for the mission of the congregation.
The local legend is she showed up at a sheriff's sale and bought this 220-acre working farm with a beautiful 1860 Georgian manor house for the princely sum of $30,000. So I like to think that all the Sisters of St. Casimir, I admire their business acumen, and the leadership shown by Mother Maria at that purchase was the start of it.
Because of the large concentration of Lithuanian immigrants in Chicago, and considering the advantages for the sisters to be more centrally located, Bishop Shanahan consented to have the sisters build their mother house in Chicago, Illinois. The mother house was completed on February 28, 1911, and St. Casimir Academy was opened in the building on September 5th of that same year.
All of these young women coming in were American, who were fluent in their own language. So she had girls ready to go to college to be prepared for as teachers. And so that was a providential experience for her.
Can you picture this? They're all young women. They just made their vows. And someone says to them, get started. Start a school. I would think people would start saying, what do we do? How do we do this? But they did. Somehow they got the word out to the neighborhood, and the very first day, a very small number of children came, all ages, boys and girls, and they didn't give up, and they kept going.
The first classes were composed of preschool children and grammar and high school pupils, some of whom were boarders. St. Casimir Academy continued as a high school within the Mother House facility until 1952, when the Maria High School was built to accommodate the growing number of girls seeking a Catholic education under the direction of the Sisters of St. Casimir.
Vocations began to increase, and of course, all the time of this training, priests were beginning to build schools with their parishes. So there was a plenitude of areas to go into. Also, out east in Pennsylvania and in New England, where there were many Lithuanian immigrants in parishes, they too were beginning to request sisters for schools that they were building for their parishes. She herself would get on the train and go back out east and visit these missions and see how they were doing, continuing to support the sisters both with their religious formation and constantly sending them for college degrees.
In Chicago, the sisters have been active in anything from immigration issues to fair housing issues, to predatory lending, race relations. All have happened literally across the street from where we sit now with their mother house or their school or their hospital. I mean, we're right in ground zero of those issues. And these women walk out the door every day and work amongst the people that they find out their front door.
They really have gone out into the world in this community here, this larger community, the Archdiocese of Chicago and beyond.
Mother Maria remained in the office of General Superior for 27 years, from 1913 to her death in 1940. During her administration, the congregation grew in membership and expanding areas of ministry.
Many of the neighborhood knew this place is where the sisters lived, but they really experienced the sisters out in the community, in their mission and their ministries.
For the first 20 years, the Sisters of St. Casimir focused on their primary apostolate, education. When the United States experienced the influenza epidemic of 1918 to 1919, it was evident to Mother Maria that there were too few doctors and too few to give care.
Well, Mother Maria was a great visionary. She was a person who, I would always say to me, read the signs of the times.
The bishop said, oh, by the way, now you got to run a hospital. And she had to take a couple of nuns that were teachers and go get them medical training and learn about this hospital business. So I think her example in being adaptive and just addressing whatever need is right in front of us and the people that we encounter, that's everything.
We were asked to take over the administration of it and staff it. And we did that for all the years that we were able to continue that ministry.
Responding to growing healthcare needs, Mother Maria prepared her sisters as nurses and administrators to staff Holy Cross Hospital, which was built in 1927, and in 1928 was completed and opened. The congregation took ownership of Chicago's Loretto Hospital, formerly the Francis Willard Hospital, in 1938.
So we saw Mother Maria's openness to other ministries, and when the cardinal the bishops asked for communities to send people to the home missions in New Mexico in the Southwest, Mother Maria responded. And there were no Lithuanians there, but she opened her heart to that. The sisters learned to speak the language and to minister to the people there. And so we always look at that. We say she was open to whatever was the need that the church put before her or the need that she saw herself.
Bishop Mundelein saw the great opportunity for the presence of a Catholic hospital. And so he sent out a request to all of the communities who already had hospitals to put in their bid to staff this place. Mother Maria did not send in a letter. he phoned her. And he says, "You didn't send in a bid." She says, "Your Excellency, I don't know if I want another hospital." He says, "Just send in your bid." Within 2 weeks, she had the response. She had the hospital.
In 1916, the bishops of Lithuania wrote to Mother Maria, seeking her assistance. They had heard about the great advancement she and her sisters had made amongst the Lithuanian American immigrants and asked that she return to Lithuania and establish her congregation there.
She saw a need, and her heart was moved to respond in some way to that need. And she was willing to do everything to respond to that.
In 1920, Mother Maria sailed to Lithuania with 4 of her sisters. Within weeks, new candidates arrived and the congregation began to grow. As the sisters increased in number, they opened schools and other institutions in various cities.
My mother was chosen by Mother Maria, who went to visit her sister, my grandmother, in Lithuania. And at that time, she said I could take one of the children with me back to America. She had an adventure with Mother Maria going on not only trains, but the ships, and coming suddenly into New York. So she told us about Mother Maria as we were growing up. Mother Maria would come up to me and put her hand on my cheek and kind of pat it. It felt like the hand of God to me. I remember her being very gentle, and she always had a smile.
In 1932, she felt a lump, and she went to the hospital and she had it removed, and it was diagnosed as cancer. And the doctors felt that they had taken care of it, and she continued to check on it, etc. Gradually over the years, though, she felt that she was getting arthritis in her hands and in her bones. She had pain throughout her system. She didn't recognize that she had cancer.
Within a few months of the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the congregation, it became evident that Mother Maria was suffering from a malignant condition. She persevered for the next 8 years with great courage as the bone cancer spread.
The example of her accepting her dying, her cancer with which she suffered for a number of years, and in a time when there wasn't the medicine and the help, I think she taught us a lesson in that of patience and going through a difficult, painful time in her life when she could still say, God is here.
She says, "Today I had asked Jesus if I could suffer the 3 hours of agony as he did from 12 to 3 o'clock. And the nurse recorded that she did. And that evening she died.
On April 17th, 1940, Mother Maria passed on to her eternal reward at the Mother House surrounded by her sisters.
She is always with us. And we use her quotes, we share her stories, we talk to our sisters, some of whom knew her personally. All of this has been written down, and we have those to go back to. So she's very much alive in our hearts and in our community.
It was commonly accepted amongst the sisters, priests, and laity who knew Mother Maria that she was a very holy person. Within a matter of hours after her death, the newspapers carried articles entitled, "Sainthood Sought for Mother Maria." Thousands of people came for her wake and burial.
3 years after Mother Maria died, 1943, the sisters went to Cardinal Stritch and asked him if this prayer, which they composed, could please be printed and disseminated, and people could already pray that Mother Maria would become a saint. The sisters recognized it. They saved all of her belongings. Her room and her office was left intact from 1940 when she passed away.
If canonized someday, she'll become the first female saint from Lithuania.
John Cardinal Cody was present for the New Year Holy Hour in 1979. Within his homily, he spoke of Mother Maria as a saint. Shortly after that, he assisted and gave his support to Sister Joanella Fayert, General Superior, to begin the process for Mother Maria's beatification. In 1986, when the necessary materials were compiled and the 45 witnesses were interviewed, Joseph Cardinal Bernardine requested of Rome a formal approval of this work.
In June of 1986, Maria Kaupas was named a servant of God. When all the documentation on the life of a potential saint is gathered, including all their writings and the testimony of witnesses, it's sent to Rome in a document called the Positio. Then the Congregation for the Causes of Saints determines whether or not the person has lived a life of heroic virtue.
Everyone was saying the same thing. Everyone was eliciting her virtues, her holiness, her calmness, her patience, her love for individuals, her charity, her deep dependence on the will of God, and her love for the Eucharist. Everyone was saying the same thing. And that definitely proved that she was a saint. They had seen her in the same way.
In October 2009, the Congregation for the Causes of Saints in Rome completed their review of the Positio on the heroic, virtuous life of Mother Maria Kaupas. The Commission of Bishops completed their review and also gave a unanimous positive vote regarding the Positio in May 2010. The results were presented to His Holiness Benedict XVI for his approval.
The Congregation for the Causes of Saints sent word that Maria Kaupas had been declared to have lived a life of heroic virtue.
It was joy. It was like, we want to tell the whole world. And that's what we did.
Mother Maria has helped me in her faith in God to have and strengthen my faith in God in my life, no matter where I'm at.
There is a deep sense of connectedness with her. We talk about her a lot. We pray for her beatification. Her picture is everywhere. And it's not just a picture on the wall, but it's who she is for us. She is our inspiration, the whole church, the world, that others can know the story. Others can be inspired by her just as we have been.
Daily in our parish church, Divine Redeemer Church, following the recitation of the Rosary before daily Mass, the faithful pray the prayer for the beatification of Mother Maria.
The Catholic Church uses miracles to establish whether a potential saint is in heaven, interceding for a healing here on earth.
We've had many people who have been ill that we prayed through her intercession, that many of them have been healed or have done well.
The responses from the people never stop coming in. We get letters, we get emails, phone calls. People, when you meet with them, they said, I prayed to Mother Maria, my husband got a job. I prayed to Mother Maria, my daughter got well.
The Catholic Church uses a very strict criteria where it says that the disease must be a very serious condition, not liable to go away on its own. It must be a cure that's instantaneous, complete, and lasting. And perhaps most difficult of all, there can be no medical treatment that relates to the cure.
The potential cure of a nun, Sister Cabrini, through the intercession of Mother Maria Kaupas, was investigated and involved the cure of a debilitating neurological condition. Sister Cabrini Staber was 59 years old and a principal in a school in Pennsylvania.
She came home for lunch. She couldn't open the door of the refrigerator. Her body was beginning to stiffen and be paralyzed.
I couldn't really move my fingers, and my legs were not working right. So I thought, what could be happening? So I told the sisters, something's happening to me. And she said, you better go to the hospital and get checked.
When she got there, Sister Cabrini couldn't move nor talk, just shifted her eyes from side to side. Luckily, one of the ER doctors was just back from a seminar about Guillain-Barré disease, a rare and somewhat unknown disease which affects the peripheral nerves of the body and results in complete paralysis that brings a patient close to death. Its after effects can leave a person severely disabled. The doctor recognized it immediately and began to treat her.
When they told me I had Guillain-Barré, I thought, I'm going to get a miracle from Mother Maria, because this is something that will take a miracle. All our sisters in our retirement home had leaflets to Mother Maria Kaupas, and they were all praying to her for my recovery. Doctors didn't give me hope for recovery. They said, Sister, you're probably going to be like this. I said, Doctor, if I have hope, I'm going to pray to Mother Maria Kaupas, and she'll get me out of this.
Sister John Vianney, her general superior, met her in the emergency room of the hospital, and together they invoked Mother Maria constantly.
I finally could walk, I could talk, I could move my hands.
They had no medicine at that time, but they began to treat her as best as they could with what they had and with physical therapy. By the end of the month, she walked out of the hospital.
Dr. Carlson came to my room and he said, "Sister, I hear you're being discharged." He said, "Now I want you to know that I am not a Catholic, but I truly believe that this is a miracle, sister."
People are left with paralyzation of an arm or a leg. There's something there that doesn't work. Not with Sister Cabrini. She walked out and she was completely healed.
When I came back from the hospital, I was so stunned. All the sisters got up and clapped, and they said, "Sister, how are you?" I said, "Look, I can move. I can go around." And I thank the dear Lord and Mother Maria Kaupas. I still pray to Mother Maria, and especially to thank her.
Sister Cabrini remained active in ministry for many years and continued to pray and spread devotion to Mother Maria. She passed away in 2019. Throughout the years, possible miracles through the intercession of Mother Maria had been submitted to Rome for evaluation and review. One particularly promising case is currently being studied and reviewed by the Vatican Medical Commission.
Perhaps someday a new healing miracle may be found through the intercession of Mother Maria Kaupas. If it is, she'll be declared blessed. If another is found, she'll be canonized. Perhaps someday she'll be one of the great saints in the history of the United States.
I do believe that Mother Maria was a holy person and one that it would be great for the Church, for people to emulate and to reflect upon and to pray through intercession.
We are inspired by her. She will always be that for us. But when she's declared a saint, then the whole world can see, and the whole world has access to her. And that's what would bring us great joy.
It would be great if she was canonized and officially recognized so that she would serve as an inspiration for many people.
She has touched more people than I think she ever realized.
Our world needs to maybe see again the great gift of the saints.
Our society needs her type of spirituality, her great love for God, her trust in her divine providence that God is ever present here.
Mother Maria's courage, the courage to do new things. We need to go forward to be open to the needs of the world today and to go forth and do them.
This has been They Might Be Saints. I'm Michael O'Neill. Thanks for watching.